Welcome everyone. Today we have a Paladin build. Yes, this is a fire secret damage Paladin with superb buffs, durability and damage. Of course, as the current meta goes, the bleeding edge is the highest source of damage. We do use that, but the focus here will be how to buff yourself into a massive tank with tons of resistance and tons of different perks we can use. We're also holy smite enemies that's under 15% HP. So before we do anything, let's look into my base stats. And my base stats currently, without any buffs, will have 8000 resistance as a paladin. I have 83% block as a paladin. I keep calling paladin. If I buff myself here, I get 98% block, and for each unit I hit, I also get 15% resistance. And that can easily stack us to 10,000 resistance. And that's not all. As the paladin, we have some holy spells. I can use this secret spell with my shield, and this gives me at least 700 more resistance. Takes me to 74%, which I'll show you guys in fight. This goes further. A bit of the random usage of items here, so we can't really see much. The health regen 2000 is not a big factor here, and overall my debuff rate is at 20% and 31%, which is not bad. Looking to my items, not the best item of course, just a random item I managed to get off our friend Xander. On stream he sold it to us for 3 billion I think, so I've been buying items. I'm selling off my uniques to get some gold. So the biggest two items here is the shield. Shield allows us to have a very high resistance, 25% more resistance. HP is not a factor here, and the shield also allows us to cast secret spells. Secret spells by far bulk is the best one. Bulwark. This allows us to not only debuff AoE wise with status debuff, also give us weakness, which lowers enemy damage, and on top of that, this also gives us resistance and also increase ailment inflict rate. So this is why the paladin is great. This particular build gives us the ability to debuff enemies without pressing this skill, Mark of Impunity. If you don't have the skill slotted in, it won't use its perks. If you have the perks ready like this, it will use its perks. The biggest perk is when enemy killed under the mark will explode to the max HP, and also the mark spread around enemies. Also we have 10 stack of curse right away, so this is a very good auto curse. And if you don't have it, just press it yourself. For this one, if you don't have it, go into a mage build that's similar with catalyst. Into the builds, I'll quickly touch on the things. There is a small bug currently with the virtuous stance, because simply if you go into the offensive stance, you will have a chance to do 15% double damage, which I'm not sure if it does spell damage, you know, the bleeding edge damage, but normal attack damage will be increased to 15% more damage. It also gives you 25% resistance instead of taking it away. Let me show you. I'm currently in the probing weakness, which is supposed to take resistance away, but it actually gives me higher resistance. If I roll here, I lose resistance, I get the block chance. So here if I roll, I get the percentage of crit, not the crit, it's like a double damage to attacks, but we get 25% more resistance. So let me show you guys the Holy Paladin. Of course, the only way to show the Paladin is with the highest map, and we took it up. We took this up, and we're gonna go for, of course, not the death ones. We're gonna pick the ones. Okay, this one's gonna be have the meteor blood ring. Let's give it the meteor. Let's go. So this is gonna be the hardest level map with 5 modifiers. So Meta says, can we chance this build? I actually bought it from our friend Death. So let's go. So what you look at right away is look at the number of buffs. I have 5 buffs here for damage. I have a chunk of buffs here. I can even get more buffs. Let me show you guys. So it's a little incredible, and I'll explain each of the buffs as a paladin. I'm a buffing paladin. Can't get so laggy when we have this much buffs. So 2 set of buffs here. Oh my gosh, it's like 10 buffs here and 5 buffs here. And this is 100 million HP monster. Let's see how fast we kill him. I am using bleeding edge, of course. Oh, he's pushing me. I need to get on top of him. That's the biggest factor. If I get on top of him, he should die quickly. If I don't, well, it gets a little awkward. And I can smite him at low HP with my Holy Smite. So we have tons of buffs, tons of durability. Now next thing I want to show you guys is when I'm going to fight, I'll leave this on. I'll show you guys how much of the durable the paladin is. So we're gonna find a bunch of enemies, press my skills, over 10,000. And this goes even further at times when there's a lot of enemies. Let's try this again, if we can find lots of them. Where are the enemies? Usually they're everywhere, huh? patch over here, not a lot. Okay, this might work. So, gonna get this going. Oh, okay, this might work. So there, 13,000 resistance. You saw right there. If I get the call right, I'm actually out of. Yeah, 13,000 resistance, which takes us to 81% all the reduced physical, and everything else is close to 80% reduction damage. And that's not all. When we shield charge into enemies like this, we also get a shield charge. I'm actually talking too much, it might be killing me. So I'll show you guys the shield charge. So we actually shield charge into something, not the wall, but the enemy. Let's try the shield charge the boss. Okay. We got a shield charge perk as well. And what that's gonna do is stop pushing me, people. What that's gonna do is it gives us tons of debuffs, and the whole map just disappeared. Did you see that? I didn't even see how much health they have. They have 170 minutes, but this is the online account, guys. This is not the offline account. Look at this. We got to the online account yesterday with our friend's help with Zenda, and I've been testing, I've been tweaking, and finally I got this working. And let me show you guys the whole stats. We're going to be hiding over here. I can show you guys everything within the dungeon. I can come on the dungeon as well. So, firstly, what we're going to look for is what are the perks. Because it's an online account, nothing is cheated, duplicated, or everything's legit here. That's what I mean. I have not duplicated my gold as well. I managed to sell one of my unique bells for Magic Find for 100 million, and I also sold some items. So that's where the gold came from as well. I was really poor before, but we were chatting on chat and we got some gold. So, right away, you can see that I'm going for a lot of toughness. This is a personal preference. I'm going at 1 and 2 at least. So this way I have lots of health. I don't get one-shotted. Initially, I was using Juggernaut because I was dying a little quicker, but I realized how good the Warpath is because you actually have a residual slam. Residual slam is with when you slam into enemies, you also get a resistance for a while. That amplifies the resistance we get. So usually 1 to 2. So this will get some debuff chances. Not unnecessary. Later, if I manage to get a good chess piece which turns critical chance or ice chance into critical chance, I can try that. We'll get higher damage for sure. You don't see many numbers on the board. The biggest factor is how tanky we are, and after that, with enough tankability, you do damage in terms of your debuffs. For the Bleeding Edge, you'll be doing damage with the ailment stacks. You'll also be doing damage because you spin for 5 seconds. When you stack those things, they actually do a lot more because they keep spinning. It's like an investment for damage. Also, you make them spin faster. But this is not the highlight of the build, of course. This is swappable. I'm planning to swap Bleeding Edge when they nerf it, and I plan to swap it into something else. I need a range spinner that can fastly spin range, and then I have everything, because everything here is flexible. If I don't use Bleeding Edge, then right now I don't do damage as fast. But if I get something great later for the patch, we'll do that. Let's get right away into the talent tree here. For the talent tree for this one, as an online account, I'm currently sitting at 76 skill points or 75 skill points, and that's everything I talent here. I can go further, which I'll explain to you guys when I get more level up. I'll explain what are my thoughts on level 80 or even level 90. So, perking right away, I'm going for a lot of health notes, and this gives me resistance and health. This is what a paladin should be. You are durable, you are sustainable, and you have to kill. And we get lots of attack here. This is the same one with melee damage. I think the attack is more stable, so I went for that. And here is the interesting factor. I'll be perking here for the rage that's over 750, and this gives us chance of double damage. With the usage of my double rage potion, I can sustain myself close to over 750. I'm a little short on points for that is 100 rage, and I can't get here that easily for another 150 rage. So after that, we also consider the tendency if we need to be durable, but usually you come for the debuffs for that one additional element. One additional element is going to be the first factor. This allows us to debuff enemies with fire. I'm actually looking towards how to get a fire debuff onto Bleeding Edge. I couldn't figure out why. So what's happening is I look at these whole stats. I have a bunch of numbers. I have physical, fire, and everything. Yes, this weapon does have fire damage, but this is not the reason why Bleeding Edge has fire stacks here. This is a tricky factor in the game. These fire damage with the debuff actually came from the rings. So if my ring was giving me something else, let's say if I put this ring down, I give myself lightning. Technically, I'm looking at 200 lightning and 400 fire, and this should give me fire debuff, but the bleeding edge is going for shock debuff. The reason being is that this is the actual big factor here. The reason being is that the range damage is kind of persuasive, or the range damage persuades the contributing factor for the elements for the bleeding edge when you actually have this perk. This perk ruins everything. It takes away all the damage into range, but the range damage actually gets fixed here. So if the range is lightning, you will do lightning. If the range is fire, you'll do fire. So you need a fire ring to start this build off. Why do I say we need a fire ring? Is because with a blistering embrace, when you actually hit enemies with a fire stack, then you consume the stack, you do additional damage. This will become a part of the fire paladin. This is the fire part. Basically, we debuff enemy with fire, we consume the stack to increase the damage dealt. Second to that, the holy part of the paladin is over here with Dawn's Precious Striker. Basically, I will be using my AoE spell, which debuffs enemies with the bulk of them. And when this spell is active, I'll be doing AoE secret damage, and this damage is going to one-shot any monster that's 15% or below HP. And also, I have this perk going, which I'm not sure if it's great or not. It turns my damage into secret inside of the effect, but I don't think it's necessary. We can definitely perk into something else. Might be lower cooldown or something else. That can definitely work too. So, the biggest factor here is as a Sacred Paladin, we kill units that's 15% or lower. I'm looking at monsters over 100 million, and that lowers HP by at least 15 million or even 20 or 30 million here. As a big contributor of the damage with the ailments, we'll be looking at the status effect. This particular effect allows us to debuff enemies with a certain percentage, and once they're debuffed, we'll be doing 120% more damage. And that's very good because not only you do increased damage, the damage tick might repeat on itself again if the enemy is still debuffed. We need to make sure we constantly debuff enemies. So this is when this spell also comes in, the bulk of Dawn. How do I get the status effect debuff here? Is I actually socketed my weapon for status or added damage. Added damage to spells allows me to have this. If I don't have the weapon here, I'm actually looking at one weakness stack because I only do secret damage. Having added damage to spells allows for this. I do have an ailments guide. If you guys want to check it out, it's on YouTube. It teaches you how to get ailments or anything you wanted. Next up, there is a few other factors. The defensive mechanics are coming from the Servitor Anchor. This is a big resistance factor. So if you look at my resistance right now, it's 8,000. If I take the helmet and the chest off, I'm looking at 2,000. Why is there such a big different factor? Is because they get multiplied. So having the chest armor and helmet as heavy armor, I get twice the health on. So basically I get twice the resistance that's on the armor, and I have so many perks that multiply the resistance even further. I have lots of ones here. I even have the shield that gives more resistance. I have percentage resistance here. I have percentage resistance here. So lots of different resistance perks that gives me even more defensive capacities. After that, well, you're pretty much in the zone for more defensive capacities and balance it with offensive. One of the best offensive perks for any debuff element builds is with this one, Immortal Offering. This is the reason when you see 5 stacks of debuff or the buffs on me. Each 5 stack gives me 25% more damage, and that adds up to 125% more damage on this side. But this side, we also have a bunch of buffs, which I'll explain. So this is the best for damage. This makes sure we have 5 more debuffs each on enemy as a max debuff. So with those two, we get 30 debuffs together onto one enemy. And that's not all. Because we're close here, we're going to get Dire Juncture for the best defensive mechanics, allow us to lifesteal and heal back up. So paladins can heal with this particular tick, but this is not a massive heal. You do see a bit of the health regen, but that's just, it's not a lot as well. 2000 per second is not a lot. So the biggest factor is you only take 40% damage, you lifesteal with your life leech from your skill actually. I don't have any perks here for life leech, I don't pick this one, and because I'm too low leveled, but you actually lifesteal from your skills. After that, one contributing factor for the resistance will come from here. As I spoke earlier, there is a small glitch currently that gives you more resistance than taking it away. So this will make us a little stronger, and on top of that, there's 5% more additional chance of double damage. This is not necessary if the double damage is not working with spells. It has to work with attack spells. If it doesn't work, then I don't really need this perk. I just want this one for the resistance for 25%. I'm going for more rage because the higher rage I am, I will be doing more damage over 750. I also have the unspent rage. When I level up here, I'll be looking into more rage and also rage as damage. And also because it gets harder to level from 75, I'll be going into the perks that gives me simple damage just very easily. This one is 25% and I usually only have one enemy left. And this one, where did it go? This one, when enemy is slowed, which we debuff with the slow of course, enemy will take 25% more damage from us. So very simple perks that give us some good source of damage. This build is pretty good as it is at 75, and let's look in the skills. For the skill perk here, you ideally want to debuff enemies with different set of skills. Why did I choose a paladin with a shield instead of a mage? Is the biggest factor is more resistance and ability to use the shield charge. And I believe this one is not usable without a shield. You can still use it, never mind. I thought it's not usable, so okay, majority for the resistance and bit of HP and bit of the life percent regen. 1% regen, it's also not a big factor. So yeah, I just want to kind of like diverge from the mages, but go into like a unkillable like a fortress, and that's the plan. This also saves me 2 perks instead of investing into those to have the block without shield. Also, the shield gives me easy block chances, so I can easily stack close to 100% block chance. So, first of all, we're going to go to Winds of Asher. I have changed this a little bit to allow for more chance to debuff. We will be jumping using stamina, as usual. We get buffs when we land, we get buffs when we hit the ground, and also we fly quicker, so we land quicker. We also got rage. So this is my first set of debuff. One buff here, and if I hit enemies, there will be another set of buff. So that's 2 of my buffs for additional damage. Now on top of that, my Solving Shot gives me resistance for everyone I hit per enemy. We get 15% block chance, we get the buff duration, critical chance, effectiveness, rage on hit. What I can do is I can do for this for more movement if I want to be mobile. But usually I can go for the increased reaction because this keeps me alive a little longer. It's personal choice if you want to go faster or go safer. And the life leech is massive. This is the reason I can actually make sure I can be strong. I can actually basically, how should I say, I can lifesteal. And all my skills does not lifesteal for me, so this is going to be a massive factor. So that's actually clutch here. After that, I'm looking to the bulk arc of dump with my shield. With the shield, we'll be getting more duration and enough duration for like almost indefinite shield here. This gives us regeneration, which is not a must-have. This is a must-have because this gives debuffs. So here, we don't have any debuff. When you do damage, you actually debuff enemies. And this secret damage also smite enemies at 15%. So instead of 25 damage, it's actually doing tens of millions of damage for us when they one-shot enemies. So we increase ailment chances when enemies inside of the effect, which they always are. After that, we get resistance when we cast this, at least 20%. After that, the healing effect follows us, that's important, and lower cooldown. So this is actually a great defensive and offensive capacity for the Paladin. Mark of Impunity. This is great, and I do recommend those 3 perks. So the first one is Express around enemies. So if you don't have the belt, you can auto click and you just click by yourself and you can still debuff enemies. After that, if you kill enemies under the debuff, they will explode for the max HP. They are at 3 million or 4 million HP and sometimes 10 million, so you actually do a chunk of damage as well. Not bad. Lastly, this is the best one. You get 10 stack of curse debuffs onto enemies, and this allows you to do more damage, because curse increase the damage enemy takes. And lastly, you have the vulnerable ability to damage, which there's a few of those, so those are really nice. Next up, we get another source of buffs with this particular one. So increase damage based on block chance, we don't really need that, so I'll probably go for the block chance while charging. Yeah, this is actually very random, so you don't have to pick any of the special ones. I don't need the movement speed because they're actually charging towards too easily. I don't want to stun enemies because that'll increase the... Actually, I think I'll stay with this. Oh, I don't need this one. So I think I go for this. So this allows me to charge for longer. If I hold on to my hotkey, this will keep charging, and when I hit someone, it's likely I persist with a resistant buff and also a block chance buff. I'm pretty maxed out with my block chance, so I didn't go for this one. And lastly, we get reach for enemies we hit, and also we get a ghost ally, which doesn't really do much. Something fun. This is majority for mobility. It's very fast and very flexible. For the bleeding edge, I recommend going for speed. I recommend going for those two because Increased reaction and increased spins means you get much more damage out of it, and they also last for longer, so you actually are life stealing with them. Even when you die, you're actually doing damage to the boss, funny enough, and this is the biggest source of damage. Only factor is most of the time I didn't figure out how am I not getting second debuff, and what's the best second debuff here. Because I don't have any damage on my rings, I wasn't getting the second debuff. With the damage on the ring, I managed to get the second debuff, and we got the fire perks ready, which is very beautiful. What I'll do is I'll share a similar build of this on a level 90 account, offline account for you guys on a save file, and this will be sent out. Basically what that can do is it can show you guys what are perking and what are the items you can have at the start, and they will also show you my general ideas, what I practice on before I made the online account, and also I'll make a talent tree on the website to show you guys the talent tree at level 75, and we'll go further from there. Now, we spoke a lot about the build, and why don't we finish the map? We'll finish the map, and we'll go from here. So, let's go for the final boss for this one. Let's see how we fare. I don't even know what boss it is. Oh, it's a robot. Oh gosh, robots are scary. So what we'll do is, you can see that I'm quickly spamming my spells. I'm even pressing D here. Get the stacks off. Oof, look at him go. He is hitting us really hard. We're also... Oh, I'm all of reach potions. Oh, just... Oh, he got me underlining. So what I was supposed to do is, after the fight, I'm supposed to jump away, but I was too happy. I was like, I made it. Then he killed me. Okay, let's come back. I'll show you guys that he got us on the final hit, right? So I'll show you guys the gears as well for this build. So, we spoke about the gears. The rings is actually going for fire damage on one of them, and also max health. Everything else we can go over with resistance. I didn't roll anything too good on the rings. So here I got material damage, which is not bad, elemental resistance, and maximum health. Also 35 force shield. The weapon here. The weapon of choice will definitely have to be a dagger to allow for mark of impunity to be applied. And on top of that, we have the damages here. I think we spoke about the weapon a little bit. The boots, the gloves, the shoulders. So, we spoke the armors are going to be heavy with lots of resistance and some flat stats. And, anything good. Here, just resistance will do. And if it's over 700, it's really good on a heavy armor. If it's over 300 on a helmet, it's really good. Anything else, cooldown helps, but, damage and resistance also helps. And flat damage and resistance is pretty good. So, for the shoulders, the biggest factor here, I'm looking for rage reduction, flat stats, and resistance. You can see I got a bunch of here. And for this one, I got more reduction. It's actually related low level 1, 81. So for the gloves, I have another reduction, more stats, and more resistance. Similar here. Critical chance is okay, not a big factor, and the health on these items not a big factor. So more toughness, more rage reduction. For amulets, I'm going for more max HP and also rend damage that helps with my damage. Not the best amulet as well. So if you want to support me further, and if you like my videos, please subscribe onto YouTube, and please also follow onto Twitch if you can. Leave a nice message or maybe leave a like on the comments on the videos. Thank you again for watching, guys. And oh yeah, I forgot about Twitch Prime. If you have Twitch Prime and if that's linked with your Amazon Prime, make sure you link with Twitch Prime and you can free subscribe every month, and that will help me a lot on Twitch as well. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this super tanky paladin with fire and holy damage. I'll see you guys next time. And that's it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this new build with the online version. I tested out multiple times on offline. We even made a guide, but I realized this is actually better than my offline guide. So I actually deleted the 30-minute file of the guide. I decided to make a new guide for you guys on this online version. So let me know what you think about this build. I know it's bleeding edge, but because it's for the endgame farm for items, once we farm the bows I wanted, I'll make a hunter build. Once I farm the mage items we want, make an elemental mage build for the late game.